the next generation of lifestyle awareness that will transform your life significantly. Hi, welcome to Living Wow Out Loud. I'm your host, Callie Ray, founder of the Living Wow Center and author of the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases. Living Wow is a lifestyle of choice and intention that was born from the truth that, number one, your body is designed to heal if you give it the environment to do so. Number two, you don't need a label or permission to be the expert in your own body. And number three, more than 80% of all diseases can be prevented or reversed by lifestyle. Unfortunately, this isn't what we're taught in our standard American diet and lifestyle culture. This podcast is a voice of hope and community where you will learn how to live a life of thriving that honors and embraces those three truths. Though you are an individual, you are not alone, and you can thrive living wow too. In today's episode, I'm going to look back a bit and then cast a vision forward to give you context of where we are and what's coming. This time last year, I was in the middle of extensive travel and finishing up Transformation 2.0. I had completely fallen into the chaos, fear, scarcity, and isolation that had characterized our society during the pandemic. It took me all of 4 months to regress into the autopilot of my pre-transformation lifestyle. I left behind my daily routines and habits as I recognized pain and autoimmune flares that I had not experienced for 10 years. After realizing that I was once again surviving with my autoimmune diseases, I made the decision. Feeling literally like I had been transported back in time 12 years, I made the choice to once again take back my life. More specifically, my lifestyle. I knew that I had transformed my health with lifestyle choices once. I could do it again. So in the fall of 2020, I set out on Transformation 2.0. I could no longer deal with the pain, flares, exhaustion, depression, fear, and hopelessness. So in these 3 steps, this is what happened. Number 1, I set the intention. I knew that I had successfully transformed from surviving to thriving before, so logic would tell me that I could do it again. I literally reread my own book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases. That put me in the mindset and gave me the hope that I could do it again. Number 2, I then put into action the mechanisms necessary to get back to thriving. I did them through the fall and the winter, and that was just making sure I had my structure and using the tools that I knew and that I had, but I wasn't using. Number 3, I re-engaged and finished what I started. We were in the middle of a 50-state book tour the year I turned 50. This was our 50 and 50, to share the message of thriving with autoimmune disease and doing the Change Your Story presentations and book signings. That's when the shutdown happened. And we were, of course, grounded from travel and unable to complete our southern route or the cruise to Alaska. I didn't do any book promotions or speaking, even online, because I just didn't feel like I could share thriving in the middle of a global pandemic. As spring emerged and I was making progress with my transformation, I had realization that it was more important than ever for me to get back out there, whatever it had to look like. So we scheduled and rescheduled the remaining states, rerouting and adjusting as schedules, precautions, closures, and such permitted. Finally, in June, it was time to go, and we knew there'd be no live presentations or book signings, but we could still share hope. And I was feeling about 80% with my health and transformation 2.0. Somehow we completed 24 states in 21 days and shared informal hope sessions with people all across the country. 3 weeks later, we had another major travel that was not part of the original 50 and 50. All of our family was invited to Mexico to celebrate our wedding anniversaries and my daughter's 10th anniversary vow renewal. I was nervous. I had not traveled internationally since 9/11 and had not flown since COVID. But we had just returned from this exhausting southern route. Would my health hold up? I just didn't know. But despite the apprehension, I had commitment to my family and myself, and we went. I came back from Mexico feeling amazing. I was at least 90%. My flares were at bay, my pain was minimal, and my energy was improving. So finally, 3 weeks after my return from Mexico, we had the trip to Alaska, the final state to finish our 50-state tour. I'm happy to report that as we finished what we started, plus some, I was 100%. I was once again thriving with autoimmune diseases. It could be done. That changed everything. Following Transformation 2.0 and all of the country we covered, I realized most things coming at you from the media and social media, from family and friends, are at a rapid rate, a lot of fear, and a lot of survival. I realized that you not only needed hope, but you needed how. So I set out to make a system that was universal, but yet individual, and simple enough for anyone to learn to be the expert in their body. I came back not sure if I should write another book, if I should do more individual coaching, just exactly how could I make the biggest impact, because I felt like the autoimmune community was in worse shape than it was even 12 years earlier when I felt so hopeless. I finally decided that the answer was in a framework. If I could use a framework that would be universal enough for all of our autoimmune diseases, yet individual enough to answer the lifestyle need, then we would be able to recreate the transformation results. And that is where Living Wow went from hope and inspiration to a framework to get results. So over the next 8 episodes, the rest of season 2, you will have the opportunity to learn more about the framework and the metaphor that I use to help you understand exactly what is happening in your body and how to understand what it means and how to facilitate healing so that you can thrive with your autoimmune diseases. As I have retransformed and navigated these familiar paths, yet in very different circumstances, I have defined and refined Living Wow to be a simple, effective, and fun framework that you can understand and replicate no matter your situation. I promise it won't hurt, and it just might help. And of course, your ultimate result is thriving with your autoimmune diseases. That is our goal as we get the framework in place using the metaphor that you can then conceptualize it. We're taking things that are really nebulous, really unfamiliar to most people, and bringing it to the familiar because it is familiar to you. It is your life, it is your lifestyle, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be confusing, and it doesn't take an expert to figure out what it means. It may take a guide to teach you how to understand. That's why I've created the framework to get results. So we've moved from knowing that you need hope. We have to have the how. Hey, if you find value here on the Living Wow Out Loud podcast, will you please share it with your friends and take a minute to rate it on the platform that you're listening on? That's how we live wow out loud. You know that more people need hope and they need the messages shared. And that's how we get recognized among all the noise. This is where you find your voice. Will you please share and subscribe and rate so that we can grow? After my personal transformation from surviving to thriving with autoimmune diseases, I was completely astounded that the experience was not what I expected it to be. Instead of resenting my body and being forever trapped with a legacy of bad genes, as I had believed would be my fate, I looked and felt 20 years younger. I had dropped weight that had plagued me for decades, eliminated chronic pain that no doctor, therapy, or medicine could relieve, and found energy that I hadn't had since I was 16 years old. Because this is not what I expected, and because I wish someone would have told me that there is another way than sad, I wrote the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases. As I began to share the book and the message of change your story, Living Wow was born. After years of continuing to learn and study how and why lifestyle has such an impact on disease and the world being torn apart by a global pandemic, I can't stand by any longer keeping it to myself. You have to understand that the power is in your hands. The power is in your body. The power is in your lifestyle. The Living Wow Center is a holistic wellness practice that utilizes the framework of the Living Wow lifestyle to identify system failures or maintenance needs. Whether you just need a tune-up or a complete systems overhaul, we support you as an individual to get back out on the journey and living wow. We will work with you to determine levels of function, needs, tools, resources, and or providers that may be best equipped to guide you as you step out of the negative health cycle and turn it into a positive health cycle. The Living Wow Center offers a revolutionary, comprehensive approach to healing, coaching, and support that is necessary in our complex, sad world. Schedule your complimentary consultation today to see how Living Wow can support you. I'm super excited to announce Supercharge for you. We are changing the name of the Living Wow Challenge to more clearly represent the monthly support program where you take Living Wow for a 10-day spin. I know 10 days doesn't seem like much, but it is, and that's why it's now Supercharge. Living Wow Supercharge is a 10-day supported focus on eating a clean, nutritionally dense diet with intention as you jumpstart into the Living Wow lifestyle. You will feel lighter, more energetic, and empowered with your nutrition. You will experience the power of nutritional healing with less pain, more energy, and a better mood. The Supercharge includes a comprehensive 10-day seasonal menu, recipes, videos, quick start guides, and links to resources. You begin with a prep, then daily support, and wrap up with a review. This is the fastest, most immersive way to get started and feel the effects of Living Wow now. Right now, go to livingwowcenter.com. That's livingwowcenter.com to sign up now for the next Supercharge running the 1st to the 10th of the month. Early sign up ensures you a spot and gives you time to complete your preparation assignments as you gear up to Supercharge. Wow, you just finished another episode of Living Wow Out Loud. I hope you leave today empowered to live your best life and thrive. If you're ready to jump in and learn a little bit more about Living Wow, come check out the Living Wow Center. That's livingwowcenter.com. And maybe consider joining our next Living Wow Challenge. We run the 1st to the 10th of every single month. See you soon.